Speaking of floating on air, my first buy is Mascots Trucking Kids.
What? Bull enough alert. My last sale is Chupa Chup wrappers.
You're looking vibrant, relaxed, youthful.
Thank you. Yes, I don't feel any of those things, but
Neither do I, and I don't look at. Wow.
oh god, we've gone full nuffy.
Oh, boy!
New studio. Who dis?
Well, we say this almost frequently now, but this is actually a studio.
This is proper big boy pants stuff.
This is not my lounge room.
No.
This is not my second bedroom.
No.
This is not my office.
No,
This is a legitimate studio.
this is a studio. This is what we do for our listeners. We always level up. So you're welcome.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get lots of praise for this. But
Yep.
I mean, the off season we heard it from people. Guys, we love this. It's not professional enough.
No, you need to put a shirt and tie on and just,
Grow up a bit.
grow up.
So we did what we contacted industry leaders.
Yep.
Obviously, this will look very familiar to those who listen to probably no podcast at all. But look, it's a studio. And
Yeah, it is. And look at the branding. If obviously jump on the YouTubes, like and subscribe. Hello, everyone there. And you'll be able to see the new studio. You'll be able to see the branding. You'll be able to see just the professional setup we're running with.
And now once we start talking, everything goes downhill.
Yeah, that was the most professional thing that will happen all year.
I'll tell you what, it's good to be back. How was the
It
summer?
is. Pretty good summer.
It's still going, really.
Well, Melbourne summer starts in Feb.
I mean, it's starting in we
yeah.
don't want to get into the climate.
How's the weather?
No,
Geez.
that's not-
Having said that, it is a 39-degree day today in early March, so and my computer's overheated and completely toast. So, but no, pretty good. So I had to work a lot of it in terms of lead up to Christmas and then straight after New Year's. So it was pretty busy, but always good, mate. What about you?
Yeah, no complaints. I
Yep.
don't like to complain.
Wow, jeez.
Yeah, jokes. Nah, look, much of the same. No real Christmas holidays for the big fella.
Yep. Yep.
I did my dash anyway. I went backpacking.
You're in Perth.
European girling through WA.
Yeah, you've done all that.
Yeah, exactly.
You've done everything needed.
I've done all right. So, pretty much the same. Worked a lot. We'll
Yep.
continue to work. We'll probably work today.
Yeah, well, that's
workaholic.
Just try and stop him.
So great summer, but I mean, footy's back.
Yeah, that's what we like.
That's what we like.
Yes. Yes.
We know what our wheelhouse is. We pigeonhole ourselves as an all sports podcast. Everyone's equal. It's not.
It's two Melbourne boys are probably going to talk about the biggest sport in town, which is AFL. But
Certainly
we
not
do
Super Rugby.
But no, I don't even know what a Super Rugby is. But don't think that we're just going to talk all AFL all year. But this episode we will
just be all AFL. Every part of this episode will be AFL.
Yeah. So if you don't like AFL, stay for the bands. Stay for the laughs.
Stay for the aesthetics of the studio.
Yeah, stay for the studio aesthetics.
Yeah.
If nothing else.
It is a full AFL episode. I don't know what the title will be called.
Full AFL episode.
1. 2024. That's actually got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, I like it.
Look, there's no point just chit-chatting. We'll dive straight into it.
Let's smash into it, yeah, for sure.
Round 0 is just complete. We're going to do a full recap of that, which I'm sure a lot of fans, at least fans of 8 teams, are waiting to hear. But first off, this is obviously the preview. We're doing this after round 0, which is, I guess, a little bit of a lack of respect towards the AFL, Andrew Dillon, and the round 0 concept. I don't believe that round 0 is the start of the year, so
I feel like
I wanted to disrespect it with this start date.
Yeah, look, I feel like I get the concept behind round 0, right? Like it's to build the northern markets and the expansion teams and give them the best opportunity. The idea originally was to do it when the NRL was in Vegas, so when there was literally no games.
That had already happened.
And that had happened, so I don't know how you butcher that fixture so badly.
Yep.
That's probably that's a absolute schoolboy error or schoolgirl error, depends who did the fixture. Either or. So that's a bit, shit. And the other thing I noticed with the Giants in particular, so just say the Giants beat Collingwood. Great start for them.
Good on you.
They play North Melbourne next week at home again. So they're going to be 2-0. The whole purpose is, all of a sudden Western Sydney are up and about. Let's get behind our Giants. Next time they play in Western Sydney.
Oh, is this because of the show?
Round 10.
Oh.
So they've gone and made this whole round, especially to try and get a bit of momentum, and then they're not back at their home ground for another 8 weeks.
Is that genuinely because of I think it's because of the Easter show or something.
I don't know. But
I think it is. Don't quote me on that. Allegedly.
Well, no, you're probably right, but that does so it just sort of defeats the whole purpose of trying to build momentum around a team in Western Sydney when you're not back for 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's
anyway. That's just
something we can dive into on our recap. I guess first things first, we'll start with the off season. So obviously, plenty of change.
Yeah.
I would like the biggest story for you from the off season.
Biggest story from the off season. Well, I think it's probably from the off season, but it's also going to lead into this season.
That's okay.
And that's around concussion and play. So obviously Brayshaw had to retire. I think Nathan Murphy's on the precipice. One more head knock, and he could be in the same boat. And just how the AFL are going to police.
That.
We already saw Jimmy Webster cop 7 weeks. Pal Pepper cop 3.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's a statement and it's great. But as the year progresses, as we get a little bit more serious, it's easy to suspend someone in a practice game for 7 weeks. If Lachie Neale does that in round 23, exactly the same.
George Hewitt as well. George Hewitt chinned him.
Yeah, no, true. But in terms of a Jimmy Webster act, just say Lachie Neale does that in round 23, Brisbane are on top of the ladder. Do the AFL suspend him for 7 weeks? That's going to be the test.
Yeah.
How consistent are we going to be with that head rule?
Yeah, no, it's an interesting one because the Jimmy Webster hit. That's not a player with a reputation or anything like this. Which I don't know. I don't know the guy from a bar of soap.
No.
That was I think brain fade. You could call that,
especially in this environment, in the climate, and
in the climate. Even in a regular season game, that's a brain snap.
Yeah.
You feel sick watching it. That's
just dumb.
Right on the boundary line.
Yeah.
There's absolutely he's already dumb. And I guess what comes of that in the modern day is social media.
Yeah.
Social media, I guess, backlash, not just to him, to his wife, family, all this sort of stuff, which is just creates a big...
And I apologise for that.
Oh, first joke of the year. Where that will land with some people, who knows? Stay tuned. It's as you said, it's easy for them to do this now.
Yeah, now. So that's in terms of the story to follow. Both that started in the preseason with Brayshaw and leads into the whole year.
Yeah,
how we this time in 8 months, how it looks. That's for me the most sort of intriguing story. What about you?
I think I'd taken this a different direction to you. I actually got two.
All right. Yeah.
I figured I'd give one that would make you roll your eyes, maybe one to Jimmy Webster hit me.
Okay.
So I'll get the first one out of the way, and that's the Jason Horne-Francis, Travis Boak off season together.
They did an off season together, did
they? They did an off season together. Now, for those people who are not Port Adelaide nuffies like myself,
so 99% of the
probably 99.9% of our viewers, listeners, Travis Boak is he's very much on the back nine of his career, 350 games,
legend of the game,
but arguably one of the, I guess, best trainers.
Oh, his preparation can't be faulted.
Preparation is absolutely elite. He has got a partnership with Red Bull and typically does a lot of no free ads. Sorry, and he goes over to America, does these high altitude camps and all this sort of stuff with bleep, and he just gets himself ready for the AFL season, which is why he's played so many games.
Yeah, the longevity is no fluke.
Yeah,
yep.
And this off season, he took the horn. He took the horn with him.
Took the horn to the Red Bull.
He took the horn to
the bull.
He took the bull. He took the horn to the bull.
Yeah.
And did a full off season together. Now, what's been the knock on this kid?
That he's not loyal.
He is loyal. He's loyal to the right club. He always wanted to go to Port Adelaide, so we've established that. North Melbourne sucks. They're a basket case.
Well, you asked me what the knock was.
Yeah. The knock is, he's not super professional.
Right. Okay.
Whatever. Doesn't want to do the little things like the ice bath.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that is genuinely following someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I could not think of a better way for someone going into their third season. First season was crap.
Yep.
Second season, good.
Promising.
A stable year, which I think was the most important thing. Now he explodes.
Yep.
So that was the Nuffy story of the off-season for me and something I enjoyed following every day on Instagram.
Very good.
And the other / more serious one was what I titled Essendon WTF.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't understand Essendon. Like, I don't understand what they're doing.
No.
I thought Todd Goldstein, I'm not even kidding, there's no disrespect to Todd Goldstein. I thought when they posted that I thought he'd signed as like a coach.
Yeah. Well, he probably has in terms of what he's,
But right now he's playing.
No, he's scheduled to play.
In
In fairness, he had a pretty good year for North last year.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. But yeah, like going to – normally you do that when you go to a club that's like in the premiership window.
Yeah, like when Luke Hodge went to Brisbane.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure Essendon are in the premiership window. I'm not even sure they're close to the house.
I don't know if they're in a window.
Yeah,
maybe it's a break glass and jump out the window.
Yeah, it's not quite. But yeah, so I feel like it's more of a coaching role. But yeah, Essendon, go on. Yes.
Yeah. Gresham.
I don't mind Gresham. Again, I don't think he's going to win him a flag.
No, there's Dersma. Sure. Can I tell you the first time I saw? I probably told this story before. Can I tell you the first time I saw Dersma play for Port Adelaide? It was a Port Adelaide Richmond game at the MCG. First AFL game I've been to in 2 years. And we were down 40 points. He kicked a goal and he fired a bow and arrow into the crowd.
Love that.
That is
situational awareness.
That is single-handedly the worst moment of my, I guess, supporting career, other than when I high-fived David Koch. I hated that moment more than when I high-fived David Koch.
Yeah, I like that you high-fived David Koch.
I still think about it. I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
He does too.
Yeah. It just was everything they did this off-season, screams. Remember when Brisbane got 5 or 6 players, including Fev?
Yeah, that's true.
And then it was just then it turned out to be
they won their first game and it was like, oh, here comes Brisbane. And then
here they are.
And then,
And then the old bumhole fell out. So
no, Essendon, I think that's a great call because I have no idea where they're at. Yeah. I don't think they're finals bound this year.
No, and there's no I guess there's no with Port Adelaide's off-season recruiting. I know they went super hard, right?
Yeah,
but they kind of recruited with purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like Essendon have just literally gone. We'll just take.
Well, you look at Sydney, right? They're getting Grundy. They feel a need.
Essendon's just I'll just have whoever, and I'll give you the most amount of money possible if that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll see how it plays out, but yeah, I tend to agree. We have a lot of Essendon fans that listen, so we wish you all the best of luck.
Do we?
Yes.
All right. That's a quick summary of, I guess, the off season. We don't have to go through who signed with who.
No. You've. I'm sure you're across it if you're an AFL fan. So, yeah.
Oh, round 0.
Opening round.
Opening round. I'll let you go. I'll let you fire off anything that you want in terms of an overarching round 0 arrow.
I fired a little, probably most of my bullets just before in terms of the butchering of the fixture schedule. I think they could just look. I totally get why they did it, and I suppose if you look at crowd attendances across the 4 games, they'll call it a success. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't feel like round 1. Like, it just doesn't feel like the start of AFL. And I feel like it's all about momentum. Like, you want that, Carlton, Richmond, 90,000. You're like, right, this is where we're on.
Yeah, the roar of the MCG.
Yeah. Melbourne, Sydney playing an absolute trash game on a Thursday night.
In basically what I thought was like Singapore.
Yeah.
Like 98% humidity.
Yeah, it doesn't bode. Like, it's just not round 1. Like, we know, like, round 1 is Carlton, Richmond.
Round 1
like, that's when we as fans are going to go, right, now we're back.
Yeah, that's when you're walking around Richmond. You can smell it.
Friday night, so they'll get 90,000 there. They'll get 90,000 Friday night when Collingwood unveil the flag against Sydney. Like that's when we're 290,000. That's what AFL is.
That's what AFL is.
So I just think if you're gonna do the Northern Markets expansion team and get them a little bit of love, I think there's got to be a better way to do it.
Yeah, the only thing that I liked about it, and I hated it, like just if I can just be clear, like I sat through the Sydney Melbourne game.
Yeah, that was a tough watch.
With my just old man,
angry fist,
old man at cloud, like watching. The elite footballers just fumble around what looked like a bar of soap.
Yeah,
and I was just like, this is not. I felt like I was from like the 1960s. I was like, this is not footy.
Yeah.
This is not footy.
Yeah.
This is not where our game should be. It just was.
Well,
there were good matchups, which I think they did. I think they did really well. Like Brisbane, Carlton.
Well, he probably should have started one of the prelim rematches first.
Yeah.
Whether it was Brisbane, Carlton, or Collingwood, GWS, they should have got one of the big Melbourne clubs in there.
Yeah. They shouldn't have played at the SCG because I think the SCG is like actually one of the worst grounds in the world. Like every sport. Like I think it's like
it's good for cricket if you attend it. It's actually
I'd rather than play in Hyderabad. To be honest,
fair enough. I think the Brisbane Carlton game is what saved the round. Like the other 3 games were...
Yeah, Gold Coast Richmond is...
that was a nothing game. Gold Coast smashed them.
That's a storyline throw-in.
Yeah.
Because if Damien Hardwick wasn't coaching...
Correct.
Gold Coast, that game wouldn't have been thrown in. So I understand what they did there. They couldn't come up with 4 of those marquee matchups and not have it in Victoria.
Yeah, exactly.
So
no, I just think the Carlton-Brisbane game is what was the only quality game.
Yeah, agreed. We'll go through each game.
Just some.
We can just
we'll whip through
Coles notes.
Yeah.
Sydney, Melbourne.
I think Grundy was the story, right?
Yeah, for me, Grundy really sort of just set a fairly big message.
Yeah, and he's always been best as a sole ruckman. That's when he was doing his best work at Collingwood. It was when he was rucking for 90% of the game.
Yeah,
he's an aerobic beast. He just thrives on that. So obviously, even at the time, wasn't even in hindsight, but him going to Melbourne with Max Gawn was like his manager deserves an uppercut because that was like I think it's Rob D'Orazio, and if you are Rob,
how you going? Thanks
how you
for
going? And the Barry drinks are very nice. I'd be advised. Like he could have gone to Geelong, sole ruckman. Could have gone probably to Port, sole ruckman. He had options. As a manager, I'd be saying, mate, you do your best work, Han Solo. There's no need to be going to where already one of the best ruckmen in the competition are. But and they learnt that lesson ultimately, and now he's playing good footy again.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, except for the drink. I've never had the drink, so I'm not sure. I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, it's no free ads.
I'm sure it's nice. I mean,
it is. It's quite nice and sugar free.
Yep, there you go. I mean, one thought about Melbourne was just like it was just kind of like. No, I don't want to say WTF so many times, but like, all the issues they had last year with their forward 50 sort of the forward half dominance going into the forward 50 was just like watching me try and grow hair. Like it was just and then we had the legit same thing.
Yeah, their forward line, they didn't fix it. Yeah, and it's their biggest problem because the only time that really started to click last year was when Petrarca went forward, and you can't afford it. Like
no,
I know they were missing Cosy Pickett, but that's not going to suddenly win them every game.
Josh
Shaki's just not a AFL. He's too good for VFL. He's probably not.
He's like a third tall.
Yeah,
who
exactly.
Can pinch in the ruck.
Yeah,
but we had one goal from like their first 25 inside 50s or something like that.
That's my big knock on Melbourne is their apart from their culture, allegedly, is their forward line structure. I don't think they'll make the 8. Yeah, I've said it.
I won't say anything. But yeah, on the flip side, Sydney, lots of love about Sydney. In a scrappy game, I thought they made a pretty big statement.
Yep.
I actually think we spoke about Heaney because Heaney had these games where he was just like no impact.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is it they do it with Papley? They get Papley into the midfield quite a bit. I'm like, why aren't they doing that with Heaney? Obviously, injuries helped this.
Yeah.
He was unbelievable.
Yeah, you can play the kid.
He is so good.
I think having Adams and Mills and Parker out sort of forced their hand.
Yeah, sort of forced
it. Sort of showed that, well, actually
this is actually a really good hand.
It's where it should be.
Certainly not like a 2, a jack 2 and a 4 of hearts.
No.
It's a good hand.
No, he's he's good. And again,
and the lizard.
Well, yeah, look, I'm very bullish on Sydney. I won't find my bullets now, but yeah, I'm very we'll talk about it later, but yeah, I think they're going to be right up there.
Yep, I agree. Brisbane Carlton.
That was a bloody good game, and just
tasty.
It was so tasty. And there's no losers. Whoever lost, I think, was a good result. So, personally speaking, as a Collingwood fan,
as someone who hates everything,
I mean, Brisbane got off to that red hot start, and you just wondered with Carlton they had a lot of injuries, no Walsh, no Wiedering, no Motlop. You're sort of thinking, fair enough.
This could be,
you can probably justify why they're but the way they came back and won was scary, to be honest.
Yeah. I didn't have any real thoughts on Brisbane. I mean, Caden Coleman is going to be
a massive loss. Yeah,
a massive loss.
Yeah. But they did get Duday, who will fill that role when he is back.
I wouldn't sleep on the Green Wedges own, Montmorency's own.
Oh no, he played a great game.
Darcy Wilmot as well to fill in maybe that role a little bit.
Yeah,
so,
no, he's ready to pop.
But that's scary from Carlton.
Yeah, they worry me.
Yeah, losing Doherty for the year. That
hurts.
That's going to hurt. But for a team to do that at the Gabba, which I think we would probably say is the hardest.
Well, they didn't lose there last year.
Yeah, hardest place to win away.
Yeah.
To do that without Wiedering, without Walsh.
Yeah.
That's and to come back from 46, I think it was 46.
46 points down.
That's
crazy.
That's a pretty substantial.
And as we'll sort of, the fact that if Harry Mackay starts kicking straight, it's that's a genuine
I don't care how good your
headache.
Is.
Yeah, exactly. You got two Coleman medalists. It's very hard to beat. But I did love It's funny, Brisbane, they are a little bit undisciplined. In the grand final, I was texting you about this, but in that grand final when who was it? Who gave away the 50 to side bottom knocks over that goal. It's an undisciplined act that potentially cost them a flag. And then on sorry the Brisbane supporters out there. And then on Friday night you had Zach Bailey being a smartass and kicking a goal after he knew it was a free kick to Carlton. And from that moment, it went back the other end. Curnow kicked his first goal, started to catch fire. It was like a 7-goal run to Carlton. It's just ooh, that is another.
It went quickly,
undisciplined acts. They need to get out of their game, Brisbane. I'm not their coach, so that's just my opinion.
Yeah, not much more to really say. And Zach Williams,
Yeah,
like
good,
what a
good
I don't know
story.
if you heard his interview post game, but like he was just like you could just tell how thankful he was.
Yeah, exactly,
Obviously, he'd
yeah.
been through like quite a significant amount.
On and off field.
Yeah, and he was just like he literally said he's like I just want to take this moment to thank all the fans, all my fans, like everything.
Yeah.
Like how sometimes players say like kind of token, thanks everyone for the support, but he literally was like he's like I just want to take. He literally said I've got the mic, I want to take this opportunity.
Yeah,
Like you could tell it meant a lot to him. Fantasia as well. They
Orazio's having met him, he's a ripper fella as well. So it's good to see him back in action as well.
Yeah, it's a shame he didn't work out at Port Adelaide. Like he was
Yeah.
responsible for my last concussion. Kicked a goal in the qualifying final. I headbutted my wall in celebration. So outside of that, I got nothing against him. But yeah, like just didn't work out at Port Adelaide. I hope he gets a clean run at it. I think Essendon fans would say the same thing. Like.
I think so.
There, the
very talented player.
body's just let him down.
Yeah.
What a scary.
Yeah, Carlton looks
thought that is.
scary. Brisbane, if you're a Brisbane fan, I wouldn't be too worried.
I wouldn't be too worried. That's a pretty tough matchup to get
Yep.
first up, even though it's at home. But
No.
they'll beat down on the.
I'd be surprised if we lost another game up there, to be honest.
Yeah, so they'll be fine. Gold Coast Richmond.
I don't really want to talk much about Richmond because I just think they're going to be a bottom four. Yeah.
Sorry.
You had a bit of a frog in your throat there. I think Gold Coast, the jury's still out for me. Like I think they won, but they beat up a bottom four team.
Yep.
But like clearly the talent is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Rowell went berserk. Back to when he debuted, when he got the 3-3 Brownlow votes in his first 3 games. Noah Anderson took Miller's back.
Yeah.
So the talent, Ben King, the talent pool is amazing.
Yeah.
I just need to see
There's holes.
there's holes, and
There's holes.
this is a team / franchise / club that's never made finals.
Yeah.
So I need to see.
You need to see so. Like,
I need to see some.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how. Doesn't matter how many players have you can. There's still that. I guess how do I word this? Like, I don't care if you've been there for like 10 minutes or like 10 years. Like, you still feel pressure when there's like 2 games to go. You got to win both
exactly.
of them when you know the club hasn't made. Like, it doesn't matter how long you've been there for. You're going to feel that.
Yeah, and they're going to get tested like they've never been tested. And Hardwick's obviously going to be a great acquisition for them as a club. But yeah, until they make finals, the jury's out.
Yeah. I was so impressed by it. I know Joe Witts was playing against Sam Naismith, who's like a good story in himself, first AFL game in I think 1,200 days or something ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah. Good on him for sticking with it. But Jared Witts with those 3 guys in the midfield. And like Richmond's midfield is not like a bottom 4 like Taranto had a
Taranto
gross
and
day.
Bolton in there.
Yeah.
I don't think he does that to Nankervis Witts.
No, I don't think so.
I think
but
it was. Yeah,
it was fun to
impressive.
watch.
Yeah.
That trio in the guts there is quite.
Yeah, it's scary.
It is quite a lot. So that was my only thought.
Let's see how Gold Coast go. And I know Richmond had a few big names out, but no, it's not going to happen. Sorry, it's going to be a development year, Tiger fans.
Yeah,
as you know,
devastating. And last of the round, GWS versus the Flag Pies.
The mighty Flag Pies. Well, I tipped GWS. I wasn't surprised. And Collingwood were 220 outsiders, I think.
Yeah, I had a lot of people ask me, they go, why Collingwood? I go, I don't make the odds.
No.
I'm like, I don't. I'm not that powerful.
Yeah. No, I just think the Giants are top 4 lock this year. And as I mentioned to you, they're Collingwood of 23. Yeah. They did exactly the same thing as what Collingwood did in that they were, bottom end of the ladder, got their mojo, lost the prelim by a point, and now they're in that premiership mode. They're hungry and they've got great talent across the park. So, yeah, it's no surprise. They're a good team.
Yep. Agreed.
What I didn't like about the Collingwood GWS thing was Mason Cox being an absolute smart-ass. There's a
there's a line.
Yeah, exactly. And if I'm Craig McRae, he wouldn't have liked that. Like,
No,
I
can't imagine most coaches
there's
like that.
There's a difference between being your authentic self, which is what Fly preaches a lot, and also, but when your authentic self is a tool, you just need to pull back because like that's just being a smart ass. And I didn't like it. I think hungry but humble was what Collingwood need to be. So. Yeah, I hope he gets a smack for that because he deserves one.
He'll probably get one.
And he had a shocking game.
And look, I don't want to say, what if he hurt someone? But, like, he's kind of lucky it was probably Shane Mumford that he's just bumped into. Like, if he... Like, that's a coach. Like, he's trying to work. He's trying to work.
If he cops a fine, then he should.
He'll be getting fined.
Yeah, it's just dumb. Silly.
Yeah, because, I mean, that's Shane Mumford's in it. He's a development coach. He's trying to work.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't be like, I don't care about him stealing the footy.
I didn't like
bumping into.
I didn't like one thing about it.
Yeah,
I don't find it funny. I didn't like it.
No, it's like we get it, man. You're American.
We get you.
Nice goggles.
Yeah, no, I
can't have him.
No, well, I just can't have that.
Yeah,
but yeah, overall, Giants, watch out.
Yeah, I didn't have much about Collingwood. That Dacos goal was
amazing.
Yeah.
I think Collingwood will be – I think this game against Sydney is a real good test. If Collingwood lose, I think it might be –
barometer for both teams.
Yeah, I think if Collingwood lose, it's a bit of a because just in terms of, Collingwood's forward line is still not great. We don't get to the grand final without Dan McStay. He won us the game against.
That's going to make some people mad.
No, but it's true. The game against Melbourne
I'm not
and the game
with him. Just saying.
Game against Melbourne, game against GWS.
Yeah.
We don't win if he doesn't play. And you just look at his impact in both games.
I agree.
So we don't get to the grand final without him, and now we've basically got the whole season without him. So it'll be interesting to see.
GWS though, I second everything you say. I hate to agree with you, but I do genuinely think they're delicious.
Yeah, they are.
That list is so
list profile is
so well.
Chef's kiss.
Oh my lord, it's so balanced.
Yeah,
is Lockie Whitfield maybe one of the I don't want to say complete superstar, but is he maybe one of the biggest superstars that just doesn't get
under the radar,
true recognition.
Yeah, well, he had a quiet season or two where he just wasn't having much impact, but now he's back to his best and his impact is super damaging. Yeah,
he looks unflappable.
Yeah,
if he plays for a Carlton,
for sure,
he's on the cover of Vogue and everything.
Well, he's got a head only a mother could love, to be honest. But
don't we all?
Yeah, true. I'm no Robert Redford,
and even she struggles with my head.
But they've got talent, and I think their backline is super underrated.
Oh yeah,
100%. It's very hard to.
Yeah, Himmelberg's found the right spot for him.
Taylor, Buckley.
No,
they got.
Yeah, and then they have these little Energizer bunnies, Brett Daniels.
Yeah, exactly.
Just popping up everywhere. Every time I watch him, I'm like, I feel like he in theory should be just a middle tier player, but he just always plays well.
Yeah,
and it's very frustrating to watch. But the Giants that was a tsunami. I know we kind of took the P155 out of them at the start of last year with the whole tsunami thing and all this stuff and playing the siren and whatnot, but. Yeah. That was a tidal wave.
Yeah, it was. And just one last note before we finish on these Giants. The social media team.
Oh, they're good.
They're good, but last night there was a little bit of sore winner type stuff. Oh, it was just a little bit of rubbing it in / and I'm not taking it personally, and they've actually deleted some of their posts. So really? I think they got a little bit. If you, we get it. You're a good social media team.
You're out there.
But you're out there and you're funny and you're so quirky, but.
Yeah. Aunt Karen with the purple hair.
Yeah, but that's not exactly. Let's not start drinking our own bathwater here, Giant social team. Let's just know your lane.
Yeah. No, agreed. There you have it. There's the round 0 summary for those who missed it.
Bring on round 1.
Alrighty, I think it's time to get to some fun stuff here. So this is going to be 2-segment.
Yep.
Little setup. First thing we're going to do is sort of this. What's your storyline going into, I guess, for the season? I know we did one for the off season, whatever. Going into the regular season, and we're going to reveal our top 8. So I'll let you go first with the storyline for the season for you.
Well, the storyline for me is, and it's sort of probably my prediction as well, so I might have rolled one into one here, but coaching carnage.
Nice.
I reckon there is genuinely 5 to 6 coaches who are under the pump. I reckon there's a big chance of a coaching merry-go-round upheaval at the end of the year. So we're looking at Luke Beveridge at the Bulldogs.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
Right under the pump.
Yeah.
A lot of stories in the off-season about his relationship with Chris Grant. There's just some unhappy people. He lost Rowan Smith. He didn't want to lose him.
Yeah.
And if the Bulldogs have another year like they did last year, or if they miss the 8, I think he's gone.
Yeah, T-Rubble.
Melbourne, I'm still Simon Goodwin. There's just something NQR there. Again, if Melbourne miss the 8, I think there's going to be a scapegoat, whether it's Goodwin or Pert or the president. I just think Melbourne are a real interesting watch, and therefore Goodwin, I think, is a really interesting watch.
Yep.
Adam Simpson, I don't think that the Eagles haven't, just because they kept his contract going doesn't mean that they're not going to knife him at the end of the year with one year to go.
Probably going to happen. I think
that's another one. I reckon Chris Fagan's a really interesting watch. I think if the line, how many times can you there's only
if they take a backward step,
there's only a small window.
Yeah, no, I could see that. I called that 2 years ago.
You did, and I'm just following now. But
and then they played in the grand final.
But it's still this is if they get to the top 4 again and they don't make the grand final, if they don't win it, I just think how many times can you keep doing the same? What's the definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing, expecting a different result, like Ken Hinkley. So I reckon Fagan's. I'm not saying he's going to get sacked, but I just think it's a watch.
Just keep your eyes on it.
Matty Nix, again, I actually think he can coach, and I think Adelaide will be okay. But if they miss the 8 again and they go backwards, I think he's under the pump. Adelaide, their supporter base don't have a lot of patience, and rightfully so. They're a big club. So he's a watch. Justin Longmuir is absolutely under the pump at Freo. I think he's probably the most under the pump. Yep. If they show no signs of improvement, don't make the finals, I think he's gone. Yep. And then my little last question mark is your boy, old Kenny Hinkley. I know they just re-signed, but if Port miss the finals, what happens?
To me or to him?
Both.
Well, we're both in trouble. If Port Adelaide missed the finals, he's gone.
So yeah. And I can see a lot of these.
I'd be devastated if that happened. I don't even know. I may even take a seat. Nah, that's not.
You'll be fine.
I don't want to go to a dark place.
You'll be fine. Josh Carr will be in, and you'll be more than happy.
I would be very happy with that. I wish that if I could make that call today, I would. I would get on the phone right now and do it. Yeah,
so that's my prediction / story is just the coaching environment. I think is very volatile at the moment.
I think we're seeing that with a lot with, let's say, North American sport.
Yeah.
Coaches just seem to be getting a shorter tenure. So you had that. This is 100% going to be the wrong name, but I'm going to try anyway. Arthur Griffin at Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, that's Griffin. I don't know his first name. Probably Arthur. Sounds good.
Sounds like it's Arthur. Arthur was 35 and 15?
Yeah.
And he got sacked before the All-Star game where he was named the coach. Doc Rivers, who replaced him, then went to the All-Star game and then was asked, and he's like, I told them, why are you making this decision? Which is the weirdest thing to do in a job interview.
Yeah, I know.
it just seems like, yeah.
And they haven't really clicked under him yet either. Oh, look, I get American sport have the luxury of being able to pay out their coaches.
Yeah.
They've got billionaire owners, whereas the
we're still a third
AFL,
world country.
the amount of money the AFL tip into a lot of these clubs, you can't really justify.
Yeah.
But I think, you see Collingwood, they made the hard decision, reap the rewards, same with Giants. So you can see the benefit. There's pros and cons of sticking fat, Hardwick, Bomber Thompson, and then there's the other side where you make a hard decision and you rise up the ladder. So horses for courses, but I think a lot of these coaches have sort of had a chance, which is why they're under the pump.
Yep.
But yeah, you're right. The culture in the States compared to here is quite different.
It's very different. For me, I had two.
Yeah.
One was added late yesterday.
Okay.
After I'd seen enough. My first one was the tipping point for Melbourne.
Yeah.
I think we're getting close to a tipping point with them. They had a pretty brutal off season.
Yeah.
Which we obviously don't need to discuss. Everyone knows it, but
yeah,
I felt coming into this game against Sydney, you had two teams who probably needed to win. I think Melbourne needed to win more just because of the fact of where they've been sort of this summer. They win there. It's in Sydney. It's tough. It's a good team that played in the grand final a few years ago.
Yeah.
A lot of the noise so now there's a little bit of pressure. Now they have to win round one.
Yeah.
Otherwise they're 0-2.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's going to get to a tipping point, and I think
it's got that smell about it.
It does have that smell about it. So kind of what you were touching on with the coach and all this sort of stuff.
I think there'll be a tipping point and there'll be a scapegoat. Who that is we'll see.
Yeah. And the late storyline ad was the Arc.
Oh fuck!
4 games.
Oh, this is going to be a long season. With
it
this.
is going to be a long season.
So
there was talk in the off season that some AFL clubs were actually trialing during simulated matches.
Yep.
They were trialing new things, which was like
new technology.
Yep. And some of that was the Arc camera angles and stuff.
Yep.
And so I'm assuming if it's at the point where it's being tested, right, it's got to be different and probably better. If they can set it up at these clubs, they can probably set it up at these AFL venues.
Yeah.
And what do we get?
Yeah.
The same potato cameras, Schnicko, and I think it's a behind. Can you please check if the ball was not fully marked before the line before it crossed over?
Well, they're just so... Well, two things. One, they're so shit scared of a repeat what happened in Adelaide with Keys that they just... So they're reviewing everything, which...
Overkill.
It's over. Well, it's not good as a fan, as a viewer. It's hard to watch.
No.
But I will say one thing with a little bit of inside information.
Oh, okay.
The AFL obviously got a bonanza, a windfall of cash with the new broadcast rights.
Yeah.
But that cash doesn't actually come in until 2025.
Oh.
So their marketing was very low key. Probably didn't notice much AFL marketing because there wasn't a lot. And I hope and I pray that they're waiting for that cash to come in for these new technology ARC stuff to happen.
I hope so.
That's the only excuse I'll give them. If it doesn't happen, then by God. But yeah, it's got to be a long season. With that stuff. They need to make it. They need to think about the viewers and the fans because at the moment it's a hard watch.
They need to think about the children as well.
Please, someone.
Okay, so moving into that, your top 8.
Ooh, okay. Well, should I just name the 8?
Just rip it, yeah.
Yep. All right. So I've got Brisbane.
Yep.
Giants, Collingwood, Sydney, Adelaide, Carlton, Port Adelaide, and St Kilda.
Interesting.
Apologies to the Bulldogs. I don't apologise to Melbourne. And as I said, Gold Coast, I need to see a bit of proof in the pudding.
Sure. So mine is Carlton, Port Adelaide, Collingwood, GWS, Brisbane, Sydney, Adelaide, and St Kilda.
Okay.
I'm not apologising to anyone.
Yeah, no, good.
Especially Melbourne,
apologised.
especially Western Bulldogs.
Yeah, so we've both had the Bulldogs out, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Their talent, they shouldn't be out.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've said this multiple times that it's not even funny anymore, but like if you watch Luke Beveridge in the coach's box, he looks like he's you say Russian algebra. He looks like he's looking at Russian algebra for the first time. Like he looks so confused in the coach's box. And he's obviously not. He's obviously he can
he's
coach.
a premiership coach.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I just think the environment around him is what's going to... I just feel like there's a bit like Melbourne, there's a tipping point coming for the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
I think there's some upheaval, so that environment makes it hard to win.
Agreed.
But yeah, look, I had Carlton 6, probably a bit low in hindsight now, off the back of that first win, but we'll see.
Yeah, I had them first. Which I had Port Adelaide first, and then I changed that. But I think I had Carlton third.
Yeah, which is my top 4: Brisbane, Giants, Collingwood, Sydney. I still think that's pretty reasonable. I think, as I said, I'm quite bullish on Sydney. I think the last podcast we did last year, I said Giants Sydney grand final.
Yeah,
and I think that's still I'm still pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, I mean that's a fair shout. I think Sydney and GWS both have, I guess, what they have everything you need in a list. They have the elite A graders.
Yep.
And then they have the A graders who are certainly not elite, but they're really, really good footballers.
Yeah.
Like, Callum Mills, Josh Kelly, that's probably harsh saying he's not elite, but like he's an A grader.
He's not a superstar, but he's an A grader. Yeah.
Yeah, like they've got those types of players which you need, which I just don't think like a St Kilda has.
Yeah, like St Kilda I put in there, but I could see them missing out as well. Like I could see.
I think they win enough games just due to the Ross Lyon factor. They've recruited, I think, well-ish.
Yeah.
In terms of like adding players.
They've added a bit more pace and
which will fit, I guess, his game style, and he's obviously gonna get 3 or 4 wins, I think, just out of pure.
Yeah, they weren't an automatic ad for me in my 8.
No, I had them 8th.
Yeah, same. So
yeah, almost so I didn't have to end up on the couch when this episode drops.
But there's always historically there's always a team that misses out on the 8 that gets into the top 4 the next year.
Yeah, right.
For me, that could if there's anyone, it's Adelaide for that if that was to happen. So yeah. I think Adelaide are probably the team that's going to bounce into the 8, cause a bit of havoc because they lost a lot of close games. They tidy that up.
Yep.
They've got a lot of talent.
Yep. There you have it. That's the top 8.
Yeah, we're both, I think, both the same, just in different order.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Essentially, I'm pretty sure we've got the exact same 8 teams.
Yeah, and we did that independently, so that's...
Yeah. I know Geelong is an interesting one.
I was going to say, Geelong could... Yeah, they wouldn't surprise me if they made the 8.
I've seen people have them in the top 4. I've seen people have them like
bottom 4.
Yeah, like
I just can't get I just feel like they're 1 or 2 injuries away from just not being good enough. But they play so many games at Geelong; it's hard to win there for opposition teams.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't see them being bottom 4. Like I don't think they'd even be close to that. I think they're going to be around the mark, but interesting one.
Yeah, I think, Geelong are a real unknown.
Yep. It'd be a real shame if they lost. It'd be a real shame.
Yeah, I hate to see it as a Collingwood fan in particular.
All right, there you have it. There's the top 8.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, prediction time.
Oh, we love this. Crystal ball. Give me that bald head of yours. Let me just...
You're a bald as well.
Oh, I know, but I got in first.
Fuck you. I think this is easily the favourite part of the episode.
Yep.
Yep. So this is a good opportunity, I guess, for us to really show how dumb we are.
Yeah, exactly. Like, to almost do the opposite of what we say.
Yep.
type scenario.
Yeah. So we are going to whip through Brownlow medal, Coleman medal, Rising Star, Premiership.
Yep.
All-Australian surprise. Mm-hmm. And then I threw in another one, breakout player of the year.
Yep.
Which I think is, I guess, kind of All-Australian surprisey.
Yeah.
But
it just gives us a chance to name 2 players.
Yeah. So how do you want to do this? You want to just go one for one?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah,
Okay.
you go first.
So, all right, we'll start with the Coleman.
Okay.
I've gone Ben King.
Okay. I've gone Jeremy Cameron.
Yep.
I still think he's a top 5 player in the comp, and I think he's going to just like I know Tom Hawkins is older, but Cameron he's fully fit, which he hasn't been for a few years. I think he's ready just to rip.
Yeah. It was a tough one. I didn't want to go Curnow.
Yeah.
Also didn't want to go Mackay just off the back of round 0 overreact. But yeah, I think just
well, Ben King kicked 5 in the first.
Did he?
He kicked 5 yesterday. Yeah. Sorry, round 0.
Okay. I did not think he kicked. I thought someone else kicked goals, which is going to potentially make one of my other suggestions look really silly.
That's
now.
all right. No.
But no, I like Gold Coast's midfield.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be involved in some high-scoring games.
Yeah, I mean, he's the focal point.
Yeah. Just signed a new deal.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit settled, whatever. So that's what I had him.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
No, it's wide open. I think there's about 4 or 5 that could genuinely take it out. So, yeah.
Yep. Rising Star.
I've gone the man that Corey McKernan uses as his fake name at hotels, Colby McKercher.
Is that true?
No.
Allegedly.
No, it just sounds like a Kmart Corey McKernan, but I think Corey McKernan will end up being a Kmart Colby McKercher because
it's like the Shane Warne cricket.
Brett
Leap.
Yeah. I just think his skills, obviously a high end talent,
very high end,
and I just think he'll basically be the Harry Sheezel of last year.
Mm-hmm. Gone a different direction.
Yep.
I've gone Riley Sanders.
Who's he play for?
Western Bulldogs.
Yes, that's right.
So he won the Norris Medal, I think it's called. Maybe I may have just made that up. Allegedly, that's what it's called, which is the MVP for the under-18 carnival.
Okay, yeah.
Played for the Allies. He's from Tasmania. Played for the Sandringham Dragons.
Yep.
He is he's ready to go now. Ready to play in
midfield.
Yeah.
So will he break? Will he break into that midfield?
Yeah, he will. And that's another thing about the Western Bulldogs. I think their season is probably going to poo-poo pretty quickly.
Yep.
And from a development point, I think he's just going to be
smack him in the guts,
thrusted in there.
Yeah.
He's obviously not going to get like elite attention given the fact that they've got Bont in there already.
Yeah.
Libba, whatever.
Yeah.
McRae kind of seems to play. He's getting less and less midfield time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's genuinely the best ball winner from that draft.
Yep.
He's not skinny. He's got really good size. Played well in the preseason. He's second favourite. So,
who is favourite? Do you know?
Harley Reid.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So I think I think it's his to lose, to be honest.
Okay. Nice.
With McKercher, I would say McKercher's probably like the second. I'd say he's the second best ball winner of the draft. My only reason for not going with him is because of the Wardlaw factor.
Yeah.
I just think he's
actually Wardlaw's eligible.
Wardlaw's eligible,
so it could be quite easily him as well.
Yeah, and then they've got Dersmer as well.
Yeah, they've got some. They've got
doesn't
some high
play like
talent.
his brother.
No, I mean we've both overlooked Harley Reid, but he's the obvious one if he gets going.
I don't pick favourites.
No, I do sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. All Australian surprise.
Well, my All Australian surprise is, and I reckon we were a year early last year.
Mm-hmm.
Chad Warner.
Yeah.
I reckon he's ready to go.
Yeah.
I think he proved his class in the 2022 grand final against Geelong when he was pretty much the only swan that's put his hand up and stood out and performed. Had a down year last year, like Sydney did.
Yeah.
But I think he's ready to go, and I would be very, bullish on him putting his hand up for All-Australian selection.
I'd agree. His second half was pretty delicious. It was almost like, I don't want to do Bruce McAvaney, and the Kathy Freeman, Kathy lifting as she turns the bend, but it was Chad lifting.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had a really big second half. Probably Grundy, Heaney, Kim probably share the votes for the first round.
Yep.
Pick your order. I had him for the Brownlow, I'm pretty sure.
You did. This time last year. Yep.
Yeah. Oops.
But you might be a year early, so
maybe I am.
If you're that way inclined, maybe chuck a cheeky pineapple on it. Maybe a lobster.
$500 on it.
If you're high rolling.
Yeah. If you need to pay for a studio space.
Yep.
So that's an interesting one. I've gone well left of that.
Okay.
I've gone Luke Jackson.
I don't know if that's well left. I reckon he's a elite talent. They've just spent a lot of assets in getting him.
They spent a lot of assets to get him.
And he played well last year.
Yep.
And I think without Sean Darcy there at the start of the year, I think he's ready to go. Yep.
That's the Sean Darcy injury was what pushed me over.
Yeah. I think he'd be right up there too.
Yeah. And I actually pushed my breakout player from this category down because I liked Jackson so much.
Okay. Yep.
It's a very simple one. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of really good ruckmen who aren't that, I guess, Max Gawn, Rowan Marshall.
Yep. Wits.
Oh, well, I don't think Wits is... No, I mean, Wits is a really good ruckman, but that Luke Jackson has that kind of...
Oh, the versatility.
Sorry,
yeah.
Whereas I was saying, Rowan Marshall has it.
Yeah.
Tim English has
can go forward and
Tim English is going to have that's a real watch this. I reckon we're going to be talking
could
about
be a
this.
Flight risk.
I think so. I think he wants to. I think that's trouble there.
Well, let's talk about it. If he goes to West Coast, and then suddenly you got English, Harley Reid. That might turn West Coast around pretty quick.
That could be that's a nice way to...
Because West Coast will get probably the number one pick again this year.
Yeah.
So anyway, interesting.
Yeah, and in this draft, there's 5 midfielders who are absolutely...
Yeah.
I reckon I could make a case for all of them
being number one.
Go one.
Yeah.
Luke Jackson has that... I guess, different dimension to his game that a Jared Witts doesn't have.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, he's
a Jordan Sweet doesn't have.
No. He's an athletic freak, Luke Jackson. So, and he's only, 21, 22? So he's still young.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question without notice. Yeah.
Yep. I like it.
Breakout player of the year.
Well, I'm sorry to stay in the same club, but I just couldn't think of anyone else. I just really think he's just going to break out and be... Again, he'll be an All-Australian, he'll be super damaging, and he's just fun to watch. And he looks like a lizard. It's the lizard, Blakey, I think.
Hopping around. Looking like an F1 car that's porpoising as he runs.
But his round zero game was already amazing. And he just breaks the lines and he just takes them on. And I just think... He's going to do it on a much more consistent, damaging level this year.
Agreed.
So he's always been a good player,
but
I think this year's going to be an elite player.
Especially when they play a lot of games at that Mickey Mouse Stadium, where he's kind of like 2 bounces and it's he's inside 50.
It's a run from half back to having a shot at goal.
Yeah, so he's well and truly primed. And he's been threatening this.
Yeah, he has.
He's just... He might be one of the funnest players to watch.
Yeah, he's great to watch.
Yeah,
he's awesome.
Little mud flap mullet.
Yeah,
back.
yeah. He's just a unique little lizard.
He is. I've gone Jack Lukosius.
Oh yeah, it's a good call.
I thought Jack Lukosius kicks 6 goals yesterday.
No, he didn't. But he was still damaging.
I just think with Lukosius, Gold Coast is. I'm not blaming Stewie Jew or whatever, but he's played everywhere. He's played on the wing, he's played the guts,
hasn't really been
back.
settled, has he? Yeah.
Hasn't been settled. Looks like he's finally settled up forward.
Yeah.
He's going to get good. he's going to get good treatment. He's going to get good looks. He's going to get, as I said, with like Ben King, he's going to be in those high-scoring games.
Yep. Well, he did kick 3 yesterday, so you weren't.
There you go.
You weren't off. You weren't off there. Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah. If he kicks 40 goals, that's a
Oh,
breakout.
and he's a thumping kick.
He's a thumping kick.
He
Beautiful
can
kick
genuinely, he takes a mark 55 out, he's having a shot.
Yeah.
So that's a great weapon to have as well.
Yeah, I think he's one to really watch.
Yeah, no, it's good, and he's not going to get the number one defender. Probably not even going to get the second best.
No.
So no, good call. I like it. I like it a lot.
Thank you. The Brownlow.
I just couldn't go past my boy Nicky Dacos.
Yeah.
I just think
The favourite.
Well, he is favourite, but Bontempelli again. They're 1 and 2 favourites. So
Yeah.
If you wanted like a real outlandish one, you could go maybe you go your Chad Warners. But no, I just think Nick Dacos would have won it. Van got injured, and I think he probably potentially gets votes last night, even though they got smacked.
Yeah, I could see
Potentially.
him getting one.
One, yeah.
One.
There were games last year when he got 30 and kicked 2 goals and he got none, so you just don't know.
Speak it into existence, maybe.
Yeah.
He gets one.
But yeah, I didn't really have an outsider there, to be honest. I think it's going to be the favourites this year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's my pick. What about you?
You probably can guess.
Don't say Horn Francis. Do not say
Jason Horn Francis.
God.
Now, he polled well last year.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
He did.
Doesn't get these 35 disposal games off the halfback that Nicky Dacos gets.
No, he's a more impact.
He is an impact disposal, bull out the middle, goal from 55 on the run after running over.
No,
Lachie
he's
Neale.
flashy. He's flashy. I just wonder about, you've obviously got Butters and Rosie, who are awesome play. Like that midfield 3 is really good, and I feel like they might be stealing. I think the umpires,
Rosie plays half forward more than the other two.
I think the umpires, sometimes when the umpires miss, like I reckon they missed Butters last year, and so now they've probably got Butters on their mind in terms of let's not miss him again. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, but look, maybe.
Not maybe. It's. I've already put money on it. It's going to happen.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah. It's simple. I genuinely believe he can win. He had. I think he had like 16 votes last year.
Yeah, which is good for a player who didn't have a great season.
Yeah, which is for a player to be in a season where they're essentially establishing themselves. Yeah. And I've already spoken about his off season, which I liked a lot.
He couldn't get him out of the ice bath.
Couldn't get him out of the ice bath, honestly. He lost 3 toes, which doesn't help. He's going to have to learn
how to kick hypothermia, but it's all good.
Yeah, and I think what Zach Butters showed last year is that there can be a midfielder in that. Ollie Wines.
Yeah.
Willem Drew is like a tagger, but he plays a lot in the midfield.
Yeah.
So there can be a midfielder that come out of that group and be a Brownlow contender.
Oh, well, he's got all the attributes in terms of you look at past winners, you look at Dangerfield and Dusty Martin, like he's basically that player.
Yeah.
So
we've said this before, and I've said it, and I was scared to say it, but when he's at full flight, he kind of does look a little bit like Nathan Buckley.
Yep.
And
he won a Brownlow.
And he won a Brownlow. So, I mean, that's the thing that stands out. Like, I'm not pooing on Tom Green here. Like Tom Green, I think Tom Green, if you have to bet on anyone to get 30 disposals, like to save your life, Tom Green's your man. But like, I don't know how many of those you're sort of going, wow, look at that.
Yeah, exactly. No, Horn Francis is.
You could have 18 disposals.
It catches the eye, and he's damaging every position is damaging. No, I get it. I think it's just probably the fact that you've been so over the top pro Port Adelaide that when you actually do make a proper prediction about
allegedly,
no allegedly there. When you do make a proper prediction about a Port Adelaide player, it's just like, is this another one? But no, I think this is genuinely one.
This is one I genuinely believe.
Yeah, which is good from you.
Yeah. I didn't say that Todd Marshall was going to win the Coleman.
No.
Yeah, I could have said Miles Bergman's going to be the breakout player of the year.
It could be.
I didn't. I was close to that, if I'm being honest. But no, I genuinely believe that. I think Dacos is too short.
well,
in
he's
terms of
about
betting?
5. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. He's like...
He's about 5'11".
He's 5'11", 5'13".
No, the Brownlow's too open to have someone so short priced, I think.
Yeah, especially the fact he did have an injury last year.
Yeah.
But we saw 2 ACLs in one game.
Yeah, geez,
both kind of innocuous as well.
It's worrying, yeah.
Yeah. If those games were played at the MCG, I don't want to.
Don't go there.
Don't want to go there. But that's my Brownlow, and I'm
sure he's pretty delicious odds too. Without looking, I'd say he'd be I don't know, maybe in the 20s.
I reckon you probably double that.
40s.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, I might just have a little cheeky nibble.
Gamble responsibly.
Please do, always. And what are you really gambling?
Yeah. So, Brownlow, that's done. Now, the big puppy. Mm-hmm. The premiership.
The wooden spoon. Yeah, West Coast. Premiership, well, I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to say it's going to be an all-Sydney affair, Giants v. the Swans, and I'm giving it to the Giants in a thriller.
In a thriller, wow.
Yeah. You?
Don't
say Port. I'm going to walk out.
Look, I just think adding Zerk Thatcher and Radaglia, and especially Jordan Sweet as a second ruckman, no. I've gone Carlton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I kind of had them like loosely with Collingwood.
Yep.
And that comeback win sort of solidified it.
Yeah, it meant that a real deal to me, didn't it?
Yeah. If they came back and won 46 points down to say Adelaide at Etihad Stadium, right?
Yeah.
Like you talk about, you're like, geez, that's a good win. Mm. But like coming back from that, showing resilience, all that. I hate using that word, but
yeah,
that is.
Oh, it was amazing.
That is some
lost one of their key players to a season-ending injury, unfortunately, but they still managed to win. And there's just the talent that's to come back into that team is scary.
Very scary. Yeah.
Plus the talent's already in there. No, look, yeah. They're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, and I think it's also it's the emotional thing as well. Like when you're playing a GWS at home, as an interstate team, you're not super worried about like the 23rd, to say the 23rd man or 23rd player.
Yeah, but
like you saw all those Blues fans dressed up as like the Blues Brothers, which kind of cool, but like. There's thousands of them.
Well, they erupted in the finals. Like the Carlton-Melbourne game was outrageous.
Yeah.
Their supporter base is, it's enviable.
It is enviable. And I think that carries a significant
I agree.
amount.
I think that's what makes top 2 finish this year crucial.
Yeah.
If you get that, so if Carlton get that home qualifying final at the MCG, you're not going to beat them.
Nah.
But if it's at GWS, if GWS play Carlton 1 versus 3, 1 versus 4,
15,000 people there,
whatever. But it's they'll still have a big. But you know what I mean? Like you're right. So I think top 2 finish is going to be more than any other year is going to be massive this year.
Yeah, which is good because I've got Port Adelaide coming second, so that's important. Carlton. It's just Carlton for me.
Yep, fair enough.
I think there's probably, realistically speaking, Brisbane, Collingwood, GWS, Carlton, Port Adelaide and Sydney can win.
Yep.
They're the only teams I think it can win.
Yep. And I think...
Did I miss someone obvious there? I don't think
No,
so.
I don't think so. I'm quite interested in Adelaide. If they turn those narrow losses into narrow wins this year, they could be... I just think they've got a lot of talent. And their time is to list-wise, their time is now.
Yep.
So, I'm not going to predict them for the flag clearly, but I think they're the ones in it.
Yep, I'd agree. There you have it. Do you want to do wooden spoon prediction?
Well, I mean, it seems West Coast. It depends what Hawthorn want to do. Like if Hawthorn want to
It was kind of a weird recruiting year.
Yeah, they might just want to bottom out for one more year before they have a crack. Start to So it could quite easily be. Even though I think Hawthorn bloody potential is amazing.
Yeah.
I think it's West Coast. I didn't like what West Coast did in the off season. They did nothing.
Yeah.
They just held all their cards and they weren't proactive, and they got Harley Reid and that's it. And I just like, well, that's not going to get you off the bottom, I don't think.
No. Richmond for me.
Yes.
And that's the predictions.
Let's have a little look at round one.
I know the true start of the season. There's some obvious games. Obviously, Collingwood, Sydney.
Yeah, massive game.
Massive
we'll see.
game.
We'll see where both clubs sit.
Richmond, Carlton. The true start of the season.
Yep,
they obviously stick out.
I think the Blues are going to give them a bit of a smack.
Is there anything that sort of stands out from you in the other games?
I like the Geelong versus St Kilda at GMHBA Stadium. I think is going to be very interesting. I think if we think what St Kilda are going to do, and that is make the finals, they have to win this.
Yeah.
If they don't win this against Geelong, I'll be like straight away. I'll be a bit sceptical.
Yeah,
and it'll be good to see where Geelong are at as well. I think it's going to be a good litmus test, that one.
Yeah, love that. Love that phrase.
Gold Coast Adelaide, I think is interesting.
Yeah, that's a big one for Gold. I think that's probably. I hate to say like it's a huge game, but it actually it really is. Because if you're talking about two teams who are probably seen as anywhere from 7th to
12th.
Yeah. Like this is the game you need to win.
Yeah, exactly. So and that's at Gold Coast. So we'll see what happens. Excuse me. We're bullish on it. I'm bullish on Adelaide. So I would expect Adelaide to win that.
Yeah, right.
So we'll see what happens. And then our tipping point game between two clubs who are at a tipping point is Melbourne Bulldogs.
I thought you were going to say Port Adelaide West Coast.
No, I think you know what's going to happen there. So Melbourne Doggies is like if Doggies touch up Melbourne's season is already looking.
It's over.
Yeah,
it's over. I'll put the nail. I'll put the nail in if I have to.
But if Melbourne beat the Bulldogs off the back of what was a very ugly loss to Sydney,
then their season's over. Either way, I've got a coffin.
Straight away. So yeah, they're probably the games I'm looking forward to. Is there anything else that you?
No, not really. I think as I've tried to be optimistic about like try and find positives about round 0. 4 games was annoying, like because for a large part you're ultimately you're Monday quarterbacking, and you're like, how good is this? How good is that? How shit is this? But like, we need to see everyone because there's so many. There is like
we're going off
question marks on like
a quarter
16.
of exactly. They could have stretched it out. They could have like turned it like it could have still been a round 1, but maybe just have it as But I don't know. Play Monday night. I don't know. Just do something different. I don't know. But
that's what the NRL did.
Yeah. Well, that exactly. Like I don't know. Anyway, I think they need to relook at it.
Oh, I would agree.
But yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped for Thursday night. I'm pumped
going?
for Friday night. No, I'm actually in Sorrento on Friday. So,
nice. Who says crime doesn't pay?
Exactly, crime pays. So I'll be watching that one. Probably at the pub and going off me 3KZ.
Yep, nice.
Whereas our Port's at home, so you won't be going. You'll be watching.
I will be going in a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Going to. I don't know if I want to advertise this yet, so I might bleep this out, but I'm actually going to the Live Adelaide event.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is that?
The golf.
Live Adelaide. Right. That'll be fun. You're going to be on that hole going off your face?
Probably.
Yeah. Drink responsibly.
Looks like I've taken the money. Like everyone else when I criticise them for doing so.
Wouldn't be bloody surprised.
Yeah, but Port Adelaide plays St Kilda on the Friday night there, so I'll go get my face painted and go
Saints colours.
Yeah, no, very excited for that. But I probably won't go to any games this week. I might try and sneak to Friday night if I'm being honest.
At Collingwood, Sydney.
Yeah. I can't go. Thursday night, I like to just watch that.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I'm going to be when that flag's unfurled, I'll be emotional. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I will not be going. I did not realise that was
Yeah,
being
no, 90,000 people there. There'll be a lot of emotion.
Yep.
So no, you should go.
Yeah. I might
Taste a bit of taste of history.
What, am I going to go to the MCG museum? Fuck you, Banner. Yeah, look, footy's back.
Yeah, love it.
We're back.
And we love that too.
We love that too. Next episode, I reckon we might try in a couple of weeks. Maybe post Oz GP.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. We've got a new segment we're going to introduce.
We do. We're not going to.
Not say it here, but we love a new seggy.
We do love a new seggy, and
of course your favourites will be back. The late news with Sandra Sully and the stock
re-signed.
market. Yeah, Sandra's back for another year. She absolutely loves it.
Yeah. She cost absolutely zero to retain. But
exactly.
Tim,
Christopher,
thank you for the chat. Always enjoyable.
always a pleasure, never a chore.
And
Shop early and
beat the rush.
Speaking of floating on air, my first buy is Mascots Trucking Kids.
what? Bull Nuff alert. My last sale is Chupa Chup wrappers.
You're looking vibrant, relaxed, youthful.
Thank you. Yes, I don't feel any of those things, but
Neither do I. And I don't look at.
oh god, we've gone full Nuffy.